Happy Monday. I've got a question for all you dentists out there. A serious question, actually. Think about yesterday at the office. How many decisions did your practice force you to make? And I'm not talking about just the big ones. I'm talking about all of them. And I'll tell you this, most of us never even think about it. But if you did, you'd realize that you're probably making between 50 and 100 decisions every single day, maybe even more for a fast-paced practice. And we just get used to it and we live with it. And you know, it's really something that becomes the constraint on the practice growth. I mean, I talk a lot about dentists becoming the bottleneck, owners making all the decisions. Everything has to run through you and how much that slows you down. And it's not about production. It's not about marketing. It's decision volume. And at the end of the day, after you've already made 100 other decisions, the quality of your decisions just isn't as good. How do I know that? Because I had multiple practices and a million decisions a day, I felt like. I mean, it really did feel that way. And nothing changed. Nothing changed until I realized that I could not be the one who made all the decisions. That's when I realized, hey, I've got some pretty amazing people working with me. And if I don't empower them to make decisions, if I don't help turn them into leaders, if I don't give them some autonomy to things that they do so well, then I'm always gonna be stuck making all the decisions in the middle of a hectic day. And let's be honest, you know, you'd probably do a pretty good job making decisions at the start of the day. But again, as that volume increases, I really think that we make poorer decisions because we're more overwhelmed, we're more exhausted. You know, our brains just can take only so much. I mean, some of us have greater volume or greater capacity than others, but again, if other people can make the decisions, that's what should be happening. So here's the way that I fixed that and the way I think you should try. At least, I don't know, experiment. For 3 days, track every single decision you make. I know that sounds like a hard thing to do, but just try it. Try it. Then categorize them. Categorize them in 3 different ways. The first category is the decisions that only you can make. Second category, decisions that someone else could comfortably make. And then the third category, decisions that shouldn't be a decision at all. You know, imagine if you had systems in place that meant that decisions were just automatic and systems took care of everything and you didn't have to give it so much thought. Man, it's one thing we don't need more of, more thinking at the office, right? I think that most people who go through that process, dentists or otherwise, realize that probably 60 to 80% of those decisions or weighty questions shouldn't even be coming to them. And so I'm going to say it again. I've said this a lot over the past several months, but it's not a people problem. It's a design problem. And that's what this newsletter, or this week's newsletter, number 61, breaks down. You know, how to not be the bottleneck, how to start to delegate more effectively, and how to decide what to delegate. It'll change everything. I was super intentional about it about 20 years ago. And you know what my goal was? My goal was to make me all you'll ever be as a manager. If you want to be a leader, train the people around you, give them opportunities, let them make mistakes, and let those become teaching moments, and everything changes. In addition, you know what? You're going to have less stress. You're going to enjoy your career a hell of a lot more. You're going to make more money. You're going to have a team that is a lot more happy with a more positive culture because everybody feels like they belong and they have a sense of ownership. And guess what that does long term? It de-risks your practice for potential buyers. Look, we're all going to transition at some point, and you should always begin with the end in mind. The end in mind means being somewhat non-essential. I know that's hard for some of our egos. Really, I get that. But that's what gives you freedom in the here and now, and that's what makes you a more attractive practice to purchase down the road. So improve the quality of your life, improve the culture of your practice, improve your recruiting and retention because it's all about culture these days, make more money, and have an asset that's worth a hell of a lot more. And I talked couple months ago about having a desirable asset versus a sellable asset. Every practice is sellable at some point, but if it's desirable, then you've got leverage and you've got choices, and you'll have a lot more people or DSOs that want to buy you at a higher price. So food for thought. Read tomorrow's newsletter, number 61. It will be well worth your time, and hopefully it changes the way that you look at practice ownership, leadership, communication, and I guess taking yourself out of the equation whenever you can. So have a great day, and I will talk with you soon. Enjoy the newsletter.